All right, a few more Japanese maples to identify. This is our first ghost that we just got last year, so it's fairly small. And it has come out in a fashion that is all of that it is supposed to be in a first ghost. Has great variegation, came out kind of in the same color it is now. I'm trying to get a good bright look at it. In the same color that it is now, being a limier green with dark green variegation, very similar to like a peaches and cream Japanese maple, Acer palmatum. And this one is supposedly very slow growing. It's the first one of the ghost series, which is called why it's called first ghost. And they say over 10 years or 12 years it might get to 6 or 7 feet tall and 4 or 5 feet wide. So for now we have it in the small space, and it stands out nicely again where you can walk by and see the variegation up close instead of having it far back, so you can really appreciate the qualities of it. This is a rainbow Acer palmatum Japanese maple, which I like. This is a small one that we recently got, which has the bright red over the more dark maroon type leaves. This one supposedly is fairly slow growing, as a lot of the variegated ones are. Getting to 6 or 8 or 10 feet over 15 years maybe. We have it in a pot, so I'm assuming it's going to probably grow a lot slower. I actually like it better than the Lilian's Jewel. I like the contrast of the colors a little better, which Lilian's Jewel is similar, but I hadn't had really good luck with it in general, just keeping it alive through the winters. This one, they say too, if a branch just turns to all the dark color as it starts to get larger, it can be a reversion, so you should just cut that off because you want to promote the higher color. It can have a dark color leaf, but if a whole branch starts to turn just the dark leaf color, then it should be cut off as a reversion, because you want to keep the quality of what the tree is, which is the mix of colors. This is an Alarian, which is very similar to an Arido Nishki. So the Arido Nishki is a little more common. You'll see that at good garden centers. So this can get 10, 12, 15 feet tall over a long period of time. It has great variegation on it. Comes out like this in the spring. Seems like the new spring growth comes out a little greener, and then as it pushes out further, as a little time goes by, all the tips go to this great variegation. And they also say if it turns a little more green over time, a way to promote the more variegated pink, white growth is to just prune it up a little bit. So trees that maybe haven't turned this color, and if you know it is an Arido Nishki and it's been that way for years and it has just been green, that if you kind of take it to it a little bit with some pruning, then it will revive it and come out with all these great colors and contrasts. So the Alarian, which is this is a new obvious one for us, it's only about 15 inches tall. The Alarian, as a little time goes by, will be much more variegated than the Arido Nishki. So that's why we wanted to give it a try. So, now as a small one, it looks very similar, but as it starts to mature, the majority of all the leaves are going to go to this very pink and white variegation, which is why we got it. So, let me see. We have got an orange dream back here in the shade. Acer palmatum orange dream, which comes out very orangey bright in April when nothing else is out. So it stands out big time against everything else that's brown. So it's a little in danger of getting burned by the frost, so we have to be careful with that. But after it has that initial color, it fades after about a month and a half to a more chartreuse, which is great because we're back in the total shade back here, total high shade. And this one can get to that 8 to 10 foot tall in 10 or 15 years. It's been very slow growing for us because we've moved it 4 different times, between being in the ground a couple times and then back to a pot and then back to the ground and then back here. So it's been a little slow growing, but it stands out. The chartreuse leaf stays for the whole summer and then gets a little orangey yellow in the fall. I don't think it's mature enough for us to really get the great color out of it yet, and plus we've moved it so many times. But in the shade, it really stands out back here against the darker green hydrangea leaves or the rhododendrons that we have back here, or just the general fact that it's kind of in the shade. So, typical Acer palmatum type leaf shape. Just a really nice tree. Got some small things. This is, where we go? I don't know which one I want to do first. This is an Abigail rose, Japanese maple. In one of the earlier videos I showed the eye candy, and I referenced the fact that it is a relative of Higasayama, and this is also the case. So in this one, like the eye candy was maturing a little more where it was losing its pink, but it has its white variegation. This still shows its really pinkish color coming out in the spring. This is a very slow growing dwarf. This is why we put it back here with the hinoki grass, so it really has a show of its own back here. It's in the total shade. It's been holding, and it gets variegated as it starts to age. It'll lose its pink as the summer goes on, like down here. Gets a little more green just with the white variegation on it. But it's just great back here, and it's just going to be a small tree. It might get to 6 feet over a long period of time, 10 to 15 years at least. And it's held its color really well in the shade, so we'll probably keep it here. It's a nice spot right off the path again where you can get a good up-close look to it. Here we have a sister ghost. And the sister ghost, like the first ghost I showed, has variegated leaves, but much more highly variegated than the first ghost. So it's got the dark green veining to it. It's an Acer palmatum. And the leaves that are a little, they're much more white on the outside with the dark green veining. Summer goes on, they get a little more green, like here down here. They get a little more green, but that variegation really stands out all summer long. So the new growth has, you know, much lighter leaf in general with the darker vein, and then as it ages, the darker veins stay there. But I actually think it has a little more character to it as the summer goes on, and they get a little darker because all the little characteristics inside of the leaf start to show out as it darkens. This one has a little more new growth on it because we had squirrels attacking it all spring and biting off leaves and buds. So it is just re-leafed out. So down here you can see there's this darker growth that was the first growth, and as I go up, so you can see all the leaves are much lighter in color because thankfully it all re-emerged with new leaves that actually still have a sister ghost look to them and not just a plain green leaf, which was a very nice surprise. Let me see. This is a green river. Once again, Talon Buckles. Introduction. Green river comes out a little light green in the fall, in the spring rather. But I don't know if you can really tell by that branch that's going this way to the right and then that way to the left. They call it Green River because it literally flows like waves along the ground, and the branches just kind of undulate, just going left and right instead of upward. We have very little upward growth on this after a couple of years, and it's a dissectum leaf that will, you know, it's got a little more color to it now. It's got a little reddish on the tips and things, but it is it'll go mostly green kind of as the summer goes on. This is our Acer palmatum Purple Ghost, another member of the Ghost series. When it first comes out, very brick red leaves that are highly variegated, which is just stunning when the whole thing comes out in the spring in that brick red color. And then as they age to a darker color, but also very variegated, but just a darker maroon as the year starts to go on, turn bright red again in the fall. Really nice show in the fall. Again, this one's a good example of, Here's your summer growth, and then here's your spring growth, because the squirrels attack this particular one too, which is very close to the sister ghost. So they bit off, you know, a foot at the end of branches and then chewed off buds all over it, and thankfully it's coming back. So the other ones we have here is this small one we got as a liner. It really just shows the difference in some of the liners we have. Our Hub's Red Willow got huge. Our Amber Ghost is huge. Our Peve Starfish is huge, all from liners. This one's the same age. It's 4 years old and from a liner. It's a pink filigree, and it's all of about 14 inches tall and 14 inches wide. Really nice, great dwarf. I see things that it's supposed to get 3, 4, 5, 6 feet tall, but this has almost been, it's spread out, but it's almost been the same height since we had received it. Really nice dissected leaf, great for a pot. This is in full shade too. It gets when the sun's first coming up, for maybe the first hour of the morning, the sun shoots at an angle through the trees, but you can see more or less it's spring color there, and then it kind of ages almost to what a Chantilly lace again is, or what a Baldsmith is, or to this kind of multicolor leaf as the season starts to go on. So that is it for this tour, and we might do one more. I think I have enough for one more.